Present.
Robbins. You'd be here, but I have.
Maybe you hung up in the traffic. It's not easy to get here today.
Yep. We have a quorum, so we can continue. Review and approval of the agenda. Any comments, corrections, additions? If not,
Move to approve as presented, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
moved and supported. Comment? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment pertaining to anything on the agenda for the annual meeting. Hearing none, we can move to the oath of office unless you'd like to wait till Mr. Robbins is here.
We can do that, we can do it almost any time, so why don't we wait till the, till Rick? We can do that. We'll come back to oath of office, and we can also do it at the next meeting too. We've done that before, so.
I think
Sure
you
with
have
that?
time.
Okay.
That brings us to item F, election of the NRAA officers for 2026.
All right,
Go ahead.
you're gonna turn it over to me to run the election?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, and thank you, Steve, I appreciate it. So at this time, we're gonna open the floor for nominations for chair.
I would nominate Paul Beechnow for chair. Second.
Third.
Okay, we have a second and a third. Is there any other nominations for chair? Hearing none. Can I have a roll call vote, please? Mr. Beechnow?
Yes.
Lennon?
Yes.
DeYoung?
Yes.
Danell?
Yes.
Hinchell?
Yes.
Johncock?
Yes.
Lamondon?
Yes.
He's quick to get out of that seat.
That's why just to make sure.
Mr. Chair, would you like to take over the elections, or?
Why don't you finish the elections, Kevin?
All right.
Can I
Thank you.
comment?
Yes.
I just want to thank Steve for serving as chair. And, you know, it's a thankless task sometimes. You have just handled it gracefully under fire in several situations, and thank you so much for your service. Here, here.
Here,
I
here.
concur with that.
It's been very rewarding, and I've certainly enjoyed it, and I hope your tenure is as rewarding.
Thank you, Steve.
Steve, I see the colors return to your face.
And my wife will talk to me.
Congratulations, thank you. We're opening the floor for vice chair.
I would move to appoint Mr. Bonick as vice chair. Support.
I would also move to add Daryl Nelson as vice chair.
Support as well.
It's tough choice. He's out of state.
All right, is there any more nominations on the floor?
I was just going to ask if anybody's spoken to Daryl and has he expressed a willingness to serve?
That's what's.
I have spoken with Daryl before he left. He said he was willing to serve in any capacity at the Board of Social.
Mr. Chairman, we offer the floor to the nominees, seeing as we had two choices to pick it from.
Provided what I've heard now, I would rescind my nomination for Mr. Bonick at this point, if Mr. Nelson is willing. That was my concern.
That's fine.
Okay, so you're not off the hook yet.
That's fine.
You're not off the hook yet, Will.
Yeah, you're.
Don't worry, Will.
All right, so, Mr. Bonick, are you okay with that decision?
absolutely fine.
All right, and you're good with that?
Yes.
And I think Mr. Henschel seconds that.
Yep.
Are you okay
I'm
with
okay
that?
with it.
So therefore, that nomination has been withdrawn. All right, so on the floor, is there any other nominations for any other persons besides Daryl Nelson? Hearing none. Roll call vote for Mr. Nelson. Beach now.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Danell.
Yes.
Henschel.
Yes.
Johnco.
Yes.
Kumanden.
Yes.
Robbins.
Yes.
Okay, and last board position is secretary. Open up the floor.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move that Will Bonnet be appointed secretary.
I'll support the motion.
Any other nominations? I'm looking at you going, oh. Any other nominations for secretary?
It's a cherry position. You get a title with no responsibilities.
Calvin doesn't.
Well, we have to vote-
Calvin doesn't have
we
the
have to
other
vote on that
secretary.
next.
Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Beach now.
Yes.
Bunny.
Yes.
DeYoung.
Yes.
Danell.
Yes.
Henschel.
Yes.
John Carr.
Yes.
Kumanden.
Yes.
Robbins.
Yes.
Motion passes. And then at this time, we usually do a recording secretary. To actually do the work of the secretary.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Kevin Klein as a recording secretary.
I'll support that motion.
Roll call.
Any other nominations on the floor for that one? Roll call, Beach now.
Yes.
Can we do Dan?
Bunny. Young.
Yes.
Danell.
Yes.
Henschel.
Yes.
John Carr.
Yes.
Kumanden.
Yes.
Robbins.
Yes.
Motion passes. Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your trust in me as chairman. I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to working with the board and Kevin and the staff. So it's a great organization, and I'm really, really honored. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. So I want to make sure and welcome Rob. Rob, welcome to the board. Looking forward to working with you. Welcome. And Rick, I haven't met you yet, but welcome to the board, and really looking forward to having you and your input. So by all means, even though you're new, feel free to, offer your comments, your suggestions as we move throughout the meeting. That's what we're here for. So welcome. We're really glad you're here.
Thanks,
The first item is the presentation and acknowledgement of NRAA Code of Ethics and Conflict of Interest policies. Carrie?
Yes, thank you. Just gonna share the PowerPoint up on the screen. So this is the annual presentation of the Ethics and Conflict of Interest policy that's been adopted by the NRAA board. First, we'll talk about the ethics policy, which was adopted by the board in about 2021. And the majority of the ethics policy comes from the requirement under the Regional Airport Authority Act to have an ethics policy. And that ethics policy is to be in compliance with the state statute entitled the Standards of Conduct for Public Officers and Employees Act. So these are the expected standards of ethical behavior for board members and employees while acting within the scope of their role as an employee or board member of the NRAA. There are several standards contained within the ethics policy. These include, no, that's me. I can't see up there, so I'm kind of simultaneously. So these include confidential information, so the obligation to not disclose confidential information unless, of course, required by law or as necessary to enforce the law. Representation of NRA information. This is a standard that indicates that a board member or an employee should represent their own views as the views of the NRAA. A standard to respect free speech, meaning that board members and employees should be authorized and not prohibited from speaking how they feel about a particular matter according to the First Amendment. Community outreach. This standard provides that The authority shall seek systematic and effective communication between the board, staff, and all elements of the community. The next one is policy and fact-driven decisions, indicates that the board's decisions should be based on policy considerations that benefit the NRAA and should be based on fact rather than opinions or particular viewpoints of various groups. The meeting attendance and meaningful participation standard, which basically encourages meeting attendance by all NRAA board members. And if a board member cannot make a meeting, to catch up on the information that was provided in that meeting or participate remotely, even though technically under the Open Meetings Act, your participation remotely is not considered attendance for at least Open Meetings Act purposes. The standard to not use your position for personal benefit, such as trying to get free flights or free flight points because you're a member of the NRAA board. To not use NRA resources for your own personal benefit, such as don't use our copying machine to make flyers regarding your business or an upcoming family event. Standards regarding contracts with the authority, and that's really covered more in the conflict of interest policy that we'll talk about next. Encourage the board and NRAA employees to consider electronic communications that are made in the capacity as a board member as though they're written, as though they're any other written correspondence that could be FOIA'd, and to appropriately present yourself as an NRAA board member in those electronic communications. Appropriate communication. So don't use derogatory or denigrating language in communications related to your duties as a board members. To respect the policy role of the board. The board is not involved in the day-to-day operations of the airport or the discipline of employees, airport employees, but rather involved with directing the policy of the NRAA. The standard with respect to not accepting gifts, except for under certain exceptions as outlined in the ethics policy. Insider trading, don't use information that you get as a member of the board to make money off of it. And contracts and incompatible employment. And we'll talk about that further when we talk about the conflict of interest policy. So with respect to gifts, the exceptions to that rule are you can accept a gift if it's available to the general public. You paid fair market value for that gift. You can make a contribution to campaigns. You can accept a gift from a relative, a gift from a friend. Food or refreshments not exceeding $200. Obviously, food or refreshment as a result of outside business or employment activities. And you can accept gifts within the NRAA and from other governmental entities. An inheritance or a gift with a value of less than $100. So our conflict of interest policy, it's a separate policy, and this also is based on a Michigan statute. And what the conflict of interest policy recognizes is that board members have a fiduciary duty to the NRAA, and that fiduciary duty is to act in the best interest of the NRAA. And the purpose of the policy is to ensure that board members are acting in the best interest of the NRAA, as opposed to benefiting the board members' private interests. And private interests are defined in the policy as a financial interest or other interests. Conflict of interest, other private interests. So this is not a financial interest as defined in the policy, as specifically defined in the policy, but it is an other private interest where your judgment will be impaired due to a private relationship or interest in a matter or action pending before the NRAA. And the process is that you should disclose that interest and no participation in discussion or vote. And this is specifically codified in our conflict of interest policy that basically essentially an appearance of a conflict of interest is every bit as harmful as an actual conflict of interest. And to protect NRAA decisions, we want to avoid even the appearance of conflicts of interest. Financial interest is a contract between the NRAA and you, any firm, partnership, or other non-corporate entity in which you are a partner, member, or employee, any private corporation in which you own more than 1% of the total stock, or more than $25,000 worth of stock, or of which you are a director, officer, or employee, and any trust of which you are a beneficiary or a trustee. So we have disclosure requirements if there is a conflict of interest, a financial conflict of interest, and if you will benefit less than $250 or 5% of the contract amount, then we have a sworn affidavit process, which is in your packet. Most conflict of interests, unless you work for one of our consultants or contractors, or have an ownership interest in one of our contractors or consultants, would fall under this, where you would disclose in your affidavit what that financial conflict of interest is, such as you're a director on a board, or your spouse is a director on a board or an employee of an organization that we do business with. You would disclose that on the affidavit, and we will publish that disclosure in our next meeting minutes to comply with the Conflict of Interest Disclosure Act. And going forward, you would not vote or participate in a decision relating to those particular financial conflict of interest that you disclosed. If you will benefit more than $250, the process is a little bit more involved, and you have to let us know in writing at least 7 days prior to the meeting at which the vote on the contract will be made. And then there is a whole disclosure requirement under the Conflict of Interest Disclosure Act, which we would then have to follow. But regardless of whether it's less than 250 or over 250, no participation by the board member in the negotiations or vote. The contract at issue must be approved by at least 2/3 of the full board, and the minutes must include the disclosure. And we have an annual statement, which is also in the packet, which basically says you received and reviewed the conflict of interest policy and the ethics policy pursuant to our bylaws. You may sign that. We also have in the packet the affidavit for you to disclose a financial conflict of interest of less than $250. And that allows the NRA, and if you know of any that are more than at this point as well, then more than 250, then it's good to disclose that as well, because it allows us to track that financial interest and then ensure that there's a proper disclosure and a process for approval if that contract does come up with the NRAA. So what happens if we violate the conflict of interest policy? We take appropriate corrective action or disciplinary action, potentially a charge of misconduct with respect to your membership on the board that would be brought up to your appointing body, either the Lamar County Board or the Grand Traverse County Board. And of course, there's always the appearance that creates in the particular action that is at issue that we want to avoid, because we don't want our decisions to be questioned based on a conflict of interest. And then potentially that contract could be void if there was a conflict of interest. Does anyone have any questions on the conflict of interest policy or the ethics policy? If you do have any questions with respect to that do come up over the course of your serving on the board, whether it's a conflict of interest that needs to be disclosed, etc., you can always reach out to me. I can provide assistance with that decision analysis, Although ultimately, the decision of whether it is a conflict of interest or not is your decision. It is a personal decision. So it is not really a board issue, so I can provide you guidance, but I technically would not be your attorney on that issue. You would have to hire your own counsel if need be on the conflict of interest, because it is a personal determination as to whether it is a conflict of interest. Although as the board's attorney, I can raise that there's a conflict of interest to protect the board's decision. Any questions at this time?
Okay, if any of you need forms to fill out, Ron and Heather will be available after the meeting to help you with
Okay. Is there any more discussion on that? We don't need to take any action. Okay. Our next item is the resolution 202601 to approve the 2026 Labor Relations Council of the NRAA.
Labor rate will be in union negotiations here at the end of this year with our Teamster union. Mike Allison has been representing the airport in those labor negotiations since 1977. So it's a good relationship that we've had. What we've done though is we've broken out duties for our labor relations negotiations and also our personnel conflict and counsel for handbook other relationship. So we broke those both out. So Mr. Allison will handle the counsel. His annual retainer is $1,300 and hourly rate is $185.
Mr. Chair, I move to support resolution 2026-01 as presented.
Second?
Got a motion to approve resolution 2026-01. It's been supported. Is there discussion for or against the motion?
I just say that that's a very reasonable rate for what we're getting.
Okay. Anybody else have discussion for or against the motion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next, we have resolution 2026-02 to approve contract with Danbrook, Adams, and Raymond for employment legal services.
So we use attorney Lindsay Raymond of Danbrook, Adams, and Raymond for this. Typical services that are provided are review of compliance, sometimes it's Title VI, other human resource policies, handbook, ESTA, the new ESTA rules, thank you. So she participates in a lot of that, not only producing the documents, but also training with our team. So her fees will be billed at $270 per hour, and legal assistance at $120 on an as-needed go-forward basis.
Kevin, she also handles if we would have any employment legal disputes she represents.
For those that are at will, yes, she would handle those that are within the union, typically Mr. Allison.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve resolution number 2026-02.
Support.
Got a motion to approve resolution 2026-02. It's been supported. Is there a discussion for or against the motion?
I was just wondering about, seems to be no retainer fee, is it, but that?
Correct.
And it's, but they will work with us and they're not gonna say that because we're not retaining them?
Correct. So with Lindsay, with all the changes in state laws lately, I think we provide her enough work to keep her engaged, so, yes. Thank you.
I was just going to comment, it's not as reasonable, but it's still reasonable.
Wait till we get to the next one. Is there any further discussion for or against the motion?
I got a question. So how many hours would she get when we have our own staff attorney?
How many hours does she use a year?
Heather would have to pull up,
So I can tell you, last year we spent about $5,000. The
So
majority
she-
of that was ESTA.
she handles very specific employment-related claims where, I mean, I feel like I need an employment lawyer. It's very specialized practice, and also she handles any contract negotiations with the CEO, as I would have a conflict of interest with.
Any further discussion? All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next, we have Resolution 2026-03 to approve the contract with Warner Norcross and Judd for environmental law matters.
So we've been using John Bile for greater than 20 years. We engaged with them really in the late 90s for a fuel spill over on the north side of the airport that was cleaned up and closed out. And so he's been here and representing us really for many years and engaging in environmental law, specifically to environmental law. And so he doesn't have a retainer. His hourly rate, though, is $745 per hour. He's very consistent within the field of environmental attorneys. Now, we use him.
Still, it's been about less than for Lindsay for last year.
Yeah,
It's
so
not- I don't know how
he's
much-
not heavily used, but where we've been using him lately is reviewing the contracts for the construction of the terminal in regards to environmental pollution and pollution requirements. So, he has advised us on some of the PFAS litigation and getting into the NRAA, so we've had discussions with him. But, and if there was any spill or potential that came up during the year, so.
I just was. We use him extremely surgically, like very narrow environmental issues that he has that very specialized expertise on, where we can get an answer from him like very quickly, where it would require hours and hours of research for a non-expert. And also, I understand his hourly rate is pretty high, but he's very good at billing us. He'd never, he's very surgical about his billing as well. I'm never shocked by his bills. He's really great.
You're saying 270 is high?
745.
45.
Oh, I'm.
270, yeah.
Yeah.
I would move to approve Resolution 2026-3 as presented.
Got a motion to approve Resolution 2026-03. It has been supported. Is there discussion for or against the motion? Are there any further questions? There being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We have Resolution 2026-4 to approve depositories for NRAA funds for 2026.
In your packet, you have a memo from our CFO, Mark Bishop, that outlines the depository relationships for the funds. Our current depository relationships are with Huntington Banks for our checking account, primary operating, PFC's customers facility charge. We also have liquidity accounts there, treasury, government fund investments, again, the general operating fund, PFC investment funds, and CFC. So we usually name that consistently. Also, we talked about, remember, 2025, the preparation of financial management proceeds for the bond. The terminal edition, that will have to establish 2 new depository accounts with Huntington and do that this year. These accounts will be dedicated just to the proper segregation and tracking of and compliance of the bond-related funds. So Huntington is our primary relationship. We do designate alternates if needed during the time. Independent Bank, Fifth Third Bank, PNC, State Savings, Honor Bank, JP Morgan Chase, and First Community Bank all meet our standards of review for additional banks. But again, there is no current funds at those facilities. So we recommend 2604 for depositories.
Move to approve as presented?
Second.
Got a motion to approve the depositories as presented has been supported. Is there discussion for or against the motion? All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next, we have resolution to approve the calendar for NRAA regular meeting dates for 2026.
So, just a little quick, the adjustments that are on there normally were the fourth Tuesday of the month. March 17th is the third Tuesday. That's due to spring break and people leaving for spring break time. So that's the adjustment there. And of course, then in November for the Thanksgiving holiday, and in December for the Christmas.
Move to approve as presented.
Got a motion to approve the calendar for this year's meeting dates has been supported. Is there discussion for or against the motion?
Ron, you'll send out invitations whenever, even if you don't get it done before vacation.
It will be done.
Any further discussion? Being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next, we have Resolution 2026-06 to designate administrative authority to sign checks and drafts on behalf of the authority.
All right, our bylaws outline who should be designated as ministerial authority to sign checks on behalf of the authority. The chair of finance, the chief financial officer, and the chief executive officer are the ones currently authorized for the purpose. And we again recommend those same positions to do that.
Move to approve as presented.
Got a motion to approve 2026-06. Motion's been supported. Is there discussion for or against the motion? All those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. We have Resolution 2026-07 to approve the adoption of the Traverse City Record Eagle and Airport website as the official publication for public notices.
Move to approve resolution 2026-07.
Got a motion to approve 2026-07. Motion's been supported by Doug. Mr. Henschel.
It is my annual duty to ask the question, does anybody else qualify for this?
To the best of my knowledge, no. It's always asked about like the legal enterprise and circulation, and others, and the answer is the Record Eagle qualifies for that and our website.
Okay. Is there any further discussion for or against the motion?
I have one question. This is just aesthetics. Is there a way to flip the order so that the most recent would be at the top instead of at the very bottom on the website? Can we do that differently to make it easier?
That's a good point, yeah. Yeah, certainly.
Then we don't have to scroll either.
It would actually help me out quite a bit, so
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Is there any further discussion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Do we have any member of the public that would like to address the board? There'll be another opportunity at our regular meeting. Okay, and let's go ahead before board member comment then, and let's do the oath of office. Is it just for the two new members? or
Nope, for everybody.
For everybody? Okay.
All right, please stand and raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state, the state of Michigan,
and the Constitution of this state, the state of Michigan,
and that I'll faithfully discharge the duties of the office
and I faithfully discharge the duties of the office
of the Northwest Regional Airport Authority Board Member
of the Northwest Regional Airport Authority Board Member
according to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability. Are there any board member comments?
Welcome to the seat.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to echo what Rob had said about thanking Steve for his leadership as our chair. And I hope that I can do just even half as good a job with just a steady hand, a very calm demeanor, always making sure all of the comments are heard, that members of the public are always welcome to make comments and we're welcome. So Steve, thank you so much again for your service as chairman. So I'll do the best to uphold those high standards you've created for others. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other board member comments? If not, Kevin, do I adjourn the meeting? Or
Yes,
do
you
need a
do.
Motion. Okay, then we will stand adjourned until 3 o'clock. Sir, thank you. Be sufficient to cover the work.
On this
If
area,
it's not, will we have to pay, or do you feel like the bids are gonna come within?
We essentially instructed the procurement to meet the budget. So if it's 4,900 yards or 5,100 yards, our ballpark is about 5,000 yards of material. So yeah, we can make those adjustments. We're just, again, trying to get the material identified by testing out, and then we'll always adjust those margins.
yeah. So, and it's just for this source area, this particular area. So, and what it is, it's a mediation effort, you know, to look at that and to see how successful we can be with those type of efforts. There may be other grants in the future working with Eagle for pilot programs to do different type of remediation and soil treatments and or carbon treatments or whatever may come about that technology. But we've been a good partner with Eagle, and this is the course we're going to try on this particular spot.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, are we going to end up having to pre-fund it, or are we gonna wait on the contracts?
We always pre-fund these, or always reimbursement.
But it is 100%.
It's 100%, yes.
But it's guaranteed that they're gonna
Correct.
give us the money.
Correct.
Rob?
Just for layman terms, I think it's very important we repeat the story and also check that my knowledge is correct. So my understanding is for many, many years, decades, the federal government had a law that said airport fire stations, which were required to have, are required to test their hoses and test their ability to distribute PFAS as a firefighting agent every year. Annually, we had to shoot some out into the dirt. We did extensive testing. There's no evidence that it has traveled to any residential areas in the group area. And I know, we all know this, we've been through this, but not everybody, and we got a couple of board members that might not have heard it. So we have since changed how that is tested. We have a cart now that instead of shooting it off into the grass, it basically is a recycling system where you test your hoses by shooting it into a recapture system. So we're not putting firefighting chemicals now into the ground as previously mandated that we do. And now we have some slightly elevated levels of PFAS in those areas. We've acquired grants to now clean that up, and that's what this is.
Good
Did
stuff.
I miss anything?
You did well.
I
You
tried
did
to
well,
put it-
and I tell everybody that you can go to our website at tvcairport.com. Under your planning, you can pull that environmental page down. There's a link, and it'll give you the whole history of since we've engaged with A-Eagle prior to in 2020. So I'll walk you through it.
Once our trucks are cleaned out, will we be using the new chemicals from that point on?
Correct. We'll be using the new fluorine-free foam, and so we'll be ordering that product. Dan is doing the investigation on that product and which company to use. There are multiple suppliers on it. The fact, though, is when you select a supplier, you're now living with that supplier for the life of the truck. You can't then go to another supplier and mix their chemical with a different supplier. You have to stay with that supplier for the life of the truck. So Dan is doing that research to make sure we vet out the companies that they're strong financial and will be here for the life of the trucks, because those trucks last us about 20 years. And so we want to make sure that is, but we also want to make sure we're vetting it out per other regional airports and regional fire departments, because if we ever, God forbid, have to use all our foam for an accident, we want to be able to replenish that fast by having another source nearby. And a lot of times how you get that replenished fast is borrowing from another fire department until you get your stock in and replenished.
So then as a follow-up question, have we determined how we're gonna dispose of our current foam and?
We'll be
are we
working-
gonna be
yeah, we'll be-
liable for payment of that,
Yeah.
or do we?
There are different programs that are out there. Eagle has done a program where they've collected it and then distributed it. The US Navy is also involved in a collection program. And so there are resources that will be involved with collecting what we currently have.
Thank you.
Any further questions of the staff? Any other comments or discussion for or against the motion? There being none, all roll call. Kevin?
Beechtown.
Yes.
Butter.
Yes.
DeYoung.
Yes.
Danell.
Yes.
Kinchel.
Yes.
Jarko.
Yes.
Mondon.
Yes.
Robbins.
Yes.
Got it right that time.
Good job.
Motion carries. We have now Resolution 2026-12 to approve the purchase of a second police patrol vehicle.
Sure, so we're looking for a second vehicle, mainly for perimeter patrol, north side engagement with tenants, basically to pursue operating across the property. We had an opportunity as we were shopping to engage with Berger Chevrolet and Todd Winslow, basically on, and I'll say, chief, police vehicles that were ordered that weren't picked up, but would meet our specifications. And so with doing that, compared to what would be a new police vehicle, we'd save about $10,000 to $12,000 on a new vehicle. However, the vehicles would maintain the warranties and everything as such as a brand new vehicle. So we look to take advantage of the discounts. The low bid was $48,699. It includes the spray-on bed liner, tonneau cover, and running boards. And then we'd like to add the other equipment, striping similar to the police vehicle, radios, etc. That's the equipment, about $20,000 to do that. So, so a total cost in round numbers of about we said $71,000.
What kind of car is it again? I'm sorry.
It is a Chevy Silverado police vehicle.
Was this in our budget for 26?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a pickup truck. So Chair, I move that we support resolution 2026-12 as presented.
We got a motion. Motion by Doug, supported by Rob Henschel, to approve Resolution 2026-12. Is there discussion for or against the motion? Any questions, staff?
Just out of curiosity, since it only leaves us the property, was there any discussion on electric vehicles since we've got an electric plug coming in on the airport?
Yeah, we've looked at those. The problem is when we order them, it's years to get them here. We can't get them here, and so we've tried, and then we've also tried with grant dollars, and the Buy American is hurdles with that one. So it doesn't fit this program at this time, but we are looking into it for the future. Yeah, definitely, especially with a lot of our maintenance vehicles. And we've talked to Light Power on their use of the Lightning and others, and yeah, we just doesn't fit at the moment, but in time it will. We do have the 2 utility vehicles that are all electric, and they've been great.
Thank you. Further discussion? Being no further discussion, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, well, we'll move down to item L, reports of the Chief Executive Officer. Kevin, review your activities report, please.
Sounds good. Well, we had the holiday lunch. That was a lot of fun. I think the few board members were able to attend. That was good. I did the executive lunch with the local CEOs. Our monthly meeting with the FAA specifically focused on the terminal. I had a lot of discussion on that. Bids will be entertained here Friday.
Yep, Chrisman is accepting bids until this Friday, so then that begins their process. They'll have a post-bid and reconciliation process, and then we'll even get you a GMP actually at the March meeting. So we're taking February to pull together a lot of the bidding.
So the current buildings and grounds group will probably have a meeting. So we'll let you know those dates, but probably close to the end of February. Our airport police department took over the official duties. So congratulations. So as of January 4th. New board member orientation for Mr. Donnell, and we'll do the same thing. We'll set those dates up for Mr. Brown here shortly. Phone conference with Congressman Bergen's office regarding the US DOT, the grant, the Small Community Service Development Grant for Houston. We are looking to amend that grant for a new city, and what DOT has asked us to do is to apply for a new grant in the upcoming notice of funding opportunities here. So we'll do that, so we'll know more in possibly September for possible route in 2027. We did the podcast with Chris Frost, interview with Kathy Gibbons regarding a hotel. Ads were placed for the terminal edition. Ads were placed for the HVAC. We had a TSA meeting following up from that notice that we received last month on the baggage system and how the funding process works and the design process works. So that was good. We had bidding ads posted on the apron expansion and the civil work. I did a presentation at Leadership at SEGA at Gaylord Airport. Paul, you joined me there?
I did. You and Autumn did a bang-up job.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming over to Gaylord.
Yep. We had a meeting with the National Cherry Festival regarding the air show. Completed the orientation, the final tour. So for new board member Rob Manell. HVAC pre-bidding meeting and new carrier apron pre-bid meeting. We had our TSA FSD quarterly meeting. The annual, we did the director's reception with TC Connect. Doug, you were there. RFQ for PFC consultant. So we'll be doing a passenger facility charge consultant and the work that we have to file with the FAA. That will, selection will come before the February board meeting. The policy conference, I know Paul, so where the policy conference, do you want to share any?
Long day, a lot of discussion. I don't think it's anything we haven't heard in the last year multiple times. Housing, childcare, roads, typical agenda items. We got to hear from, what, 6 of the gubernatorial candidates?
Yeah, all 6, yeah.
Good. And then, of course, the gala fell that night. And ads went out for the soil removal. And then today we had airline meetings with all carriers to discuss some of the rates and charges coming up. And then I did send a note to the board that Avello will suspend service for 2026. They'll be back in 2027. The reasoning is they cut about 30% of their fleets, which means they got rid of all their 737-700s, and they only have the 737-800. So that would have added about 48 seats per flight more. So they just thought that that would take them out of profitability on the route for 2026. They are ordering the E2-195, which is 140 seats versus the 190 seats. And so they plan to be back in 2027.
I think we should also note that Avella did stop.
Yes, Avella did stop its contract with the government for those flights.
They did?
Yes.
Yes. All right, any questions of Kevin's activities report? If not, operations report, Kevin?
Well, the big number is 935,816 is a record.
So how close was Dan?
Dan won. Dan was the closest. You are 915.
9:15.
915.
He went big.
Carrie was close next at 913. I think the one that was over was Lori. She was like 980 something. So at this moment, I would like all board members to take a scrap piece of paper and write down your number for this year. And when you leave, you can give them to Mr. Mark to put in the envelope. So you can participate on your closest number. I know we didn't do that last year. We kind of makeshift that. So put your guesses in. But all in all, that was an 18.9% increase over our previous record of 2024 at 787,000.
How many is that, Kevin, over the past 3 years? Is that 60?
So we had 689 the year before. So yeah, three years in a row.
Awesome. Other accounts receivable report?
Yes, so since I set it up this morning, priority was logistics calling and payment of people. And then Avis Budget Group, I found out they had a change in accounting again, so I've been trying to walk their new person through some reconciliation, and hopefully we'll see a payment next month.
Very good. And Will, budget report?
Yeah, just, as you can see, that it's a preliminary, and I believe they've started the audit already, getting ready for it. They haven't started it. And you can see we're close to 3 million over budget, favorable to our budget. And it's just been a great year. And of course, obviously with the 18.9% increase, you see how we've come ahead. Yeah. I just, was there anything else that you wanted to add to that?
Mark?
No, I think you covered it well. I think the other thing I wanted to point out is, as you can see, there's a lot of project dollars sitting out there as well. We've been very active in this past year with getting things in motion for the upcoming terminal and some of the pre-work that's required for that. So we'll be looking, we had a couple of those grants that have been approved to close out, so we got some funds coming back to get reimbursements on. So we'll continue to work on those as we go forward as well. But overall, 2025 was a real solid year.
Great.
I was just wondering about, with all the snow again, are we gonna be a little bit over budget with the snow removal?
Well, if the wind keeps blowing from the west at 40 miles an hour, it's all down on 3 Mile Road.
We are up in chemical and sand usage, yes, we are. But nothing that, I think we've been pretty good with budget so far.
And 3 Mile Road did have a 10-car pileup down there one day? Due to our snow?
Well,
I don't know, it's Mother Nature.
Don't say that.
It's Mother Nature snow.
Mother-
Everybody's snow, Dan.
Transient
Everybody.
Everybody's snow. No ownership.
Yeah. This is what, I think the Gaylord was prayed for.
We'll take it. We'll take it for a while longer. Any questions on the budget report of Will or Mark? If not, is there any member of the public that would like to address the board on any items pertaining to the airport? Our county road commission liaison.
Also, 3 Mile Road was not our fault either.
Wait a second, roads in the name, roads in the
Where
name.
was the
There's
tunnel?
no official podium. I'm gonna stand here. Sometimes I sit down with you guys. For the 2 new board members, my name is Elisa Korn. I'm with the Grand Traverse County Road Commission. And oh look, the boss took care of business there. In an effort to work better with our partners, a couple of years ago, we started a process where we're all assigned to different boards and municipalities, and you have a face with the name of the County Road Commission so that you know you have somebody to talk to if an issue comes up. And then we report to the boards on anything that we think that would be pertaining to the airport here and just in general about the road commission. A few notes, obviously you guys are on the same schedule as us. The snow has just been, a lot. So a big shout out to your crews. I think about the guys out there fueling up and de-icing when we're, getting to have a snow day and stay inside, and they keep all of us flying, and our crews keep all of us driving. So obviously they've been out nonstop pretty much for several weeks now. We also have had an excessive amount of car accidents that's resulted in damage and removal to many of our signs, our guardrails, our chevrons. Once again, Cass and South Airport, we lost the traffic signal control box, which is a consistent issue. It's such an issue that we've looked into some sort of insurance coverage for the road right-of-ways, and unfortunately there's no real asset coverage in the road right-of-ways for things like traffic control boxes. We're typically able to recover costs for the taxpayers on behalf of the person that's in the accident's car insurance. Unfortunately, many of our residents don't carry car insurance and still drive on the roads, and many of them have hit our assets in the last year. So that's been an interesting thing to learn about. We did complete our last data piece for our 5-year plan that we're working on. It has been since 2013 since the Road Commission has completed a comprehensive traffic count on all of our roads in the county, and that was completed. The numbers are amazing. I'm sure you guys would agree, somewhat like your numbers. The amount of people using our roads is mind-boggling. I probably don't need to ask if any of you can guess which road had the highest amount of car counts on it, but it includes the name of your facility in its name. South Airport Road topped out at about 41,000 cars a day during the car count near, I call it Art Van because I'm not sure what it is, but you know what I'm talking about at the intersection of Park there in South Airport. So a couple reasons why we needed these car counts. First of all, they're valuable for all of our partners in the community, and they'll be published on our website, just like all of our PACER ratings and all of our data is for everybody. We're just finishing up, cleaning up the numbers because they were taken, obviously, during a large road construction project this summer. So we have to, the math people do that. But when it's done, it will be on the website for everybody to access. One of our main projects is, as you know, we did receive some extra funding from the state, or it was allocated. We have not received it. I should be clear about that. We don't know how or when we're going to receive it and in what way. If it will be allocated quarterly, annually, upon a reimbursement, we don't know. But we are projecting forward not only with projects in our current budget, but with projects that could utilize this if and when that money comes up. We're shovel ready to go. So what we're going to do is take our lowest rated PACER roads with the highest car counts and merge those 2 levels of the GIS. That will give us the easiest low hanging fruit where we can get the most bang for our buck with those extra dollars and impact the most people as possible in our 13 townships that we cover. So that will be going on. On our projected road projects for this year, the most impactful to the airport, of course, is the Hammond Road project. I promise, Rob, we are almost done with that area of the county. That will be a HMA overlay and crush and shape from Town Line to 4 Mile on South Airport Road. And I don't need to explain to you why. If any of you have driven on it, you know that that was the one piece that was left. Obviously, it would have been done sooner, but we had to delay the 3 Mile Road Federal Aid project a year because of the MDOT project on Grandview Parkway. So all of that was a cascading domino effect, and we are finally happy to say we're done with that whole project. So that would be the most impactful. And of course, we're really trying to, the roads, I'm sure you all noticed, we were able to do an extensive amount of roads this last year. And in order to keep them that way, they will be chip and sealed. We have a lot of terms. Chip and sealed. This year, a lot of studies not only have shown, but confirmed that if you do that, chip and seal within a year, it really helps with the road lasting a lot longer. About 5 to 10 years is a very conservative estimate on extending the length of a road with a 1-year chip and seal. So for all of you driving around that are like, they just worked on that road a year ago, we're extending the life of that road up to 2 decades on that and really assist with that freeze and thaw. So that will be going on as well, and I would assume town line. I don't have it confirmed yet, but I would assume since we worked on it last year. And that is it. If there's any questions? No, as always, use the report of condition on the road commission website. It's on your phone, it's on your laptop. Please use it. That's how we know when trees are down. Signs, especially when signs are hit, please let us know immediately. If you live near somewhere and a sign is down, we need to know that right away. And that is it. Thank you.
Appreciate your report. Thank you very much.
I'll try and be shorter than her.
Ha!
Ron Lemko, Cherry Country Cafe. I want to remind everybody next Wednesday, the 4th,
Yes.
is recess here. So we'll have our world famous chili that we'll be serving. Shorts Brewing will be here with the beer. Traverse City Whiskey will be here with spirits. And Left Foot Charlie's will be here with wine. So come on out between 5 and 7.
Awesome. Thank you, Ron. Any other comments from the public? If not, do we have any board member comments?
Mr. Chair, just a question. Last February, we had a parking crisis. And is our economy lot going to be open and able to satisfy customers soon?
Yes. We're waiting on the security cameras to be placed in the parking lot, so with cold weather and the local way. Hopefully we're expecting those finished up here this week. And so once that
And then
happens.
we'll plow it.
Yeah.
That was my
The plowing portion
How they
takes
get in
us
there?
minutes to take care of, so, and that'll be over. So yes, from a parking vendor, parking standpoint, we're ready to go. We just did not want to open it to the security cameras.
Do we have a means to transport people
Yes.
from the lot?
Yep, the bus is already here.
Personnel?
The bus is already here, and the parking vendors.
He's really wondering if they've hired the drivers.
Yeah, Dan and I were supposed to be
Well,
first in line.
if you would like to, we'll get you set up with Anne Marie, the parking manager, and she'll take care of
You still have your commercial license?
I do, for an airplane. How about we just fly over?
Maybe Mike could use a helicopter.
There you go. But yes, we're ready to go. So,
Are there any other board member comments? If not, we will then, we have an issue. Is Mr. Lawrence here today? We have, Kevin, we go into closed sessions for this.
yeah, certainly in your packet, you had the information regarding the issue. So what we need from the board is,
First, we need a motion to open the hearing from the board, and then I'll just go over what we're doing and the hearing notes, and then
So moved.
We got a motion with support. Is there discussion?
over the hearing.
Sorry, what was the motion?
The motion is to have a public hearing.
to open the hearing.
Open the hearing for Mr. Lawrence.
Okay.
Got a motion, it's been supported. Is there discussion for or against the motion? Not? All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Now we have the public hearing.
So what we're here for is a hearing that's been requested by Mr. John Lawrence related to a security incident that occurred on November 22nd, 2025. The airport security coordinator determined based on that incident to issue 3 strikes to Mr. Lawrence. Those strikes included unauthorized access into the AOA, piggybacking, and then operating on the AOA without authorization to do so. And that determination was upheld by the CEO on appeal by Mr. Lawrence under our ordinance, section 700. Mr. Lawrence can appeal to the CEO. That determination was upheld by the CEO on December 23rd. Mr. Lawrence appealed that determination of the CEO to the board, timely appealed that. Per our ordinance, the hearing will be in front of this board. The hearing involves what is known as sensitive security information. The sensitive security information is by statute and federal regulation, not subject to disclosure. The federal statutes are 5 U.S.C. 552, and the Codified Federal Regulation at issue is 49 CFR Parts 14 and 1520. Therefore, I am recommending that we go into closed session to have this hearing, as the information that is involved related to this hearing is so intertwined with that sensitive security information. It would be difficult, if not impossible, to have the hearing in open session and be in compliance with federal statute and federal rule. So I'm recommending that we go into closed session pursuant to MCL 15268, subsection 1, subsection 8. A roll call vote is required.
Good question, Rob. Do I understand correctly that this is 3 strikes for 1 incident? And is that typical?
When there's multiple violations, yes.
All right, if that's the case, then I move that this board goes into closed session due to the consideration of material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state and federal statute MCL 15.2681H, and for the safety of the public in that regard.
Got a motion by Rob. Support? Support by, Rick. Support by Rick. Is there discussion for or against the motion? Roll call, please.
2/3 vote to go into closed.
Beechna.
Yes.
Bonnet.
Yes.
DeYoung.
Yes.
Canal.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Jonkoff.
Yes.
Kumanda.
Yes.
Robbins.
Yes.
Okay.
I just have one question. Is he get Mr. Lawrence get a chance to?
He will
approach?
join us in closed session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion that we come out of closed session.
Second.
We've got a motion by Will, supported. Dan, did you support that? Or Rob, did you support
I
it?
did.
That motion's not supported. Is there discussion for or against the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Now we would have a motion to close the hearing.
Close the hearing, yeah.
I would need a motion to close the hearing. So moved.
Second.
The motion and support, is there discussion for or against the motion? All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. And then we can deliberate on the topic, and our decision would be either on a motion to grant the appeal or to affirm the decision of our CEO.
And as
We can deliberate.
yeah, deliberate, I've provided you guys with a template for a decision, which basically sets up the facts. It has the facts. The 3 issues on, well, really, let me just go through it, just for the record.
Okay.
So the template basically states that the appellant is John D. Lawrence. The subject is the appeal of the CEO's determination. The incident date is November 22nd, 2025. The airport security coordinator's determination was issued November 25th. The CEO determination was issued December 23rd, 2025. John Lawrence filed his appeal on December 28th, 2025, and the board hearing date is today, January 27th, 2026. Does the board agree with that? Those statements.
Yes.
So this matter comes before the NRAA board pursuant to NRAA rules, regulations, and ordinances, section 700.3, subsection B, which allows an individual to appeal a determination issued by the CEO. The board conducted an in-person hearing on the date listed above, during which both the CEO and the appellant were provided the opportunity to present information, respond to questions, and offer any witnesses or supporting materials. Where necessary, the board entered in closed session to review sensitive security information in accordance with applicable law. All deliberations and the final decision were conducted in an open session. Does the board agree with that? The issues on appeal, the appeal concerns whether the CEO's determination relating to the following violations are supported by the evidence. 1, circumventing security by accessing the AOA through an unauthorized gate. 2, piggybacking behind another vehicle through an AOA access gate without presenting credentials or entering a code. And 3, operating a vehicle on the AOA non-movement area without authorization. Does the board agree with those as being the 3 issues?
Yes.
Okay. The evidence considered by the board included Exhibit A, Airport Security Coordinator's determination, Exhibit B, CEO's opinion, which is sensitive security information, Exhibit C, Airport Operations Incident Report, which is SSI, Exhibit D, Access Gate Assignment, also SSI, Exhibit E, Lawrence Badge Application Record, Personal Information Redacted, Exhibit F, Written Witness Statements, Exhibit G, Ordinance Section 700.6 and 700.12, Exhibit H, Airport Security Program, Chapter 4, certain sections which are sensitive security information, and Exhibit I, the video of the incident, and then we will add Exhibit 10, Mr. Lawrence's phone record, which he submitted at the end. Does everyone agree with that?
Yes.
Just writing that down. So, finding of facts. So this is where the board decides the use of unauthorized access point. Does the board find that Mr. Lawrence used an unauthorized access point?
Yes.
Yes.
Any facts on any sensitive security information in particular you're relying on to find evidence?
That was clear in the video. That was presented.
So how do you, everybody just said yes there. How do you have a comment on that? Is
You
it,
can have a comment.
you can just have a comment?
Yeah.
I just like to say, it's not overly clear that he was, at the wrong gate. I mean, she said, go use that gate, there's construction, there's a whole bunch of gates through there. I could see going to the wrong gate. I can actually see that. But I understand where we're going with this, especially the next part.
Okay. Does the board feel that he used an unauthorized?
He used an unauthorized
He did,
gate.
yes.
He did not go through, whether it's a right or wrong gate, whether he was directed to a right or wrong gate, he used an unauthorized gate. And he used a technique to use that unauthorized gate.
That's
Even if it was the right gate, it was the wrong gate if you didn't put your own code in, so.
Very good. I'm just gonna write that. Okay, and then piggybacking through the gate. Does the board find that occurred?
Yes.
Yes.
clearly.
And what is the evidence that supports that?
The video.
And then number 3, unauthorized vehicle operation on the AOA non-movement area. Does the board find that occurred?
Yes.
Yes.
And what evidence supports that?
The video.
The video.
The video and his badge application?
In fact, he doesn't have driving privilege.
Does the board conclude to affirm or reverse the security strike for circumventing security unauthorized access?
Affirm.
Security strike for piggybacking, affirmed or reversed?
Affirm.
Driver strike for unauthorized vehicle operation, affirmed or reversed?
Affirm.
So the final decision then would be affirmed in full.
Yes.
Okay, so based on all of that, we need to do a motion to approve the appeal decision 2026-01 as I've outlined, and the board is dismissed.
Got a motion by Rob Spence, supported by Will. Is there any further discussion?
I want to say, I really wanted to find a way to give this guy a break. I see staff was already very fair. It's not what we all signed up to do or expected to do. We became airport. I wanted to, make sure the drives are plowed and there's, positive things happening. So just want to acknowledge it's not what we regularly do. It was a very challenging and learning experience for us all. And I want to thank the staff for using a fair hand as best you could and impartial. I hope Mr. Lawrence will continue to use the airport, take the remedial training, and help us all keep safety top priority.
Anyone else have a comment?
I'm sympathetic to the potential for miscommunication, misunderstanding, gate identification, but everything that I saw after that just, I think is hard to excuse.
Thanks, Rob.
As a guy with a badge who uses it daily or weekly for sure, couldn't agree more with what you just said, Rob.
Anyone else? Okay, we've got a roll call, please.
Each now.
Yes.
Bunny?
Yes.
DeYoung?
Yes.
Tanell?
Yes.
Chamco?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Robbins?
Yes.
Acting?
Henshaw?
Henschel. Sorry, no? I've got an old sheet, so I'm making do, so. So Henschel, confirmed. Yes.
Yes.
Motion is unanimous. That concludes today's business, and we stand adjourned.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your thoughtful consideration.